Picture this. You're sitting on your favorite couch, your spouse comes in, a little upset about the dishes piled up in the sink. Seems familiar, doesn't it? Marriage, my friends, is a beautiful journey. But like any journey, it comes with its own set of bumps and turns. Often, these bumps manifest themselves in the form of everyday situations. The dishes in the sink, the toothpaste cap left off, the toilet seat left up, or maybe the laundry that's been sitting in the basket for a day too long. These small situations, as trivial as they may seem, can lead to bigger issues if not addressed properly. You see, when these seemingly insignificant moments pile up, they can create an undercurrent of frustration and resentment. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, starting off small, but gathering size and speed as it descends. Before you know it, what started as a minor grievance about unwashed dishes or unfolded laundry has snowballed into a full-blown argument about respect and consideration. But why does this happen? Why do these small situations escalate to bigger issues? Well, it's because these situations are often not just about the dishes or the laundry. They are about the underlying feelings of being unheard, unappreciated, or taken for granted. These feelings, if left unaddressed, can fester and grow, creating a wedge between you and your spouse. So, the dishes piling up in the sink is not just about cleanliness, it's about respect for shared spaces. The laundry sitting in the basket is not just about tidiness, it's about sharing responsibilities. The toothpaste cap left off is not just about hygiene, it's about consideration for one another. Recognizing these intricacies is the first step towards addressing them. Remember, in marriage, it's often not about the what, but about the why. Why is something bothering your spouse? Why is it causing friction? Understanding the why can help you address the root cause, rather than just managing the symptoms. So, how can we handle these situations better? Stick around, we're about to delve into that. The key to any successful relationship, folks, is effective communication. Now let's break this down. When we say effective communication, what we mean is an open and honest exchange of thoughts and feelings, a dance between two souls, if you will. It's the lifeblood of any relationship, a bridge that connects two individuals, allowing them to understand each other's worlds. But how often do we find ourselves caught in a web of misunderstandings leading to disputes and distress? More often than not, this stems from a lack of effective communication. So, how can we communicate effectively? The answer, my friends, lies in expressing your feelings openly, but without blaming or criticizing your partner. It's about saying, "I feel upset when you don't call," instead of, "You never call." See the difference? One expresses your feelings, the other criticizes your partner's actions. But effective communication isn't just about talking, it's equally about listening. Active listening, to be precise. Now, what's that, you ask? Well, it's about fully focusing on your partner, understanding their point of view and responding thoughtfully. It's about making your partner feel heard and valued. And here's a little secret, folks. Active listening doesn't mean you have to agree with everything your partner says. It's about understanding their perspective, even if you don't agree. It's about respect. So, let's make a pact, shall we? Let's promise to communicate more openly and honestly, to express our feelings without blaming or criticizing, and to listen actively. Let's promise to build bridges, not walls. So the next time you find yourself in a heated conversation, take a step back, breathe, and remember these words. Remember that the goal isn't to win the argument, but to understand your partner's perspective and find a solution that works for both of you. Remember, it's not about who's right, but what's right. Talk, listen, understand, and repeat. Patience, folks, is not just about waiting. It's about how you behave while you're waiting. Now, this is a principle that shines bright when we talk about marriage. In this dance of two, patience is not just a virtue, it's a lifeline. It's the silent hero that turns the tide when the waters get rough. Think about it. You've got two people, two hearts, and two minds, each with their own sets of quirks and idiosyncrasies. They're bound to clash at some point, right? And that's where patience steps in. It's the buffer that softens those clashes, the balm that soothes the sting of harsh words, the pause that lets you stop, breathe, and think before you react. But how do you cultivate patience? Well, it starts with understanding. Understanding that your spouse is not perfect and neither are you. Understanding that disagreements are not a sign of a failing marriage, but a sign of two people striving to merge their lives while still honoring their individuality. Next comes acceptance. Accepting that your spouse won't always see things your way, and that's okay. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about respecting each other's perspectives and finding a middle ground. Then there's mindfulness, being present in the moment, keeping your emotions in check and responding rather than reacting. It's about choosing your words carefully, not letting anger dictate your actions, and remembering that love should always be louder than conflict. And finally, there's resilience, the willingness to weather the storm, to stick around even when things get tough, and to believe in the power of your bond. It's about bending, not breaking, and knowing that every challenge you face together only makes your relationship stronger. So, if you find yourself in the midst of a disagreement, take a moment. Breathe, listen, understand, respond with kindness and respect, and remember, patience is not just about enduring. It's about growing stronger together. Patience, my friends, can turn mountains into molehills. We all make mistakes, don't we? What matters is how we handle them. Now let's take a moment to talk about forgiveness, an essential ingredient in the recipe of any thriving marriage. You see, forgiveness is much more than just saying, "I forgive you." It's about releasing the grip of resentment that can so easily tighten around our hearts. It's about choosing love over bitterness, understanding over judgment. In the dance of marriage, we inevitably step on each other's toes. We have disagreements, we hurt each other's feelings, sometimes without even realizing it. But it's important to remember that these missteps are rarely malicious. They're often born out of misunderstanding, stress, or simply being human. So how do we forgive? How do we let go of resentment? First, we need to acknowledge our feelings. Yes, you've been hurt. Yes, it's okay to feel upset. But then, we need to make a conscious decision to let it go. This doesn't mean forgetting or condoning the mistake, but rather choosing not to let it control your emotions or taint your perception of your spouse. Next, communicate openly. Express your feelings, but do so with love and respect. Avoid blame and instead focus on understanding each other's perspectives. Remember, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about reaching a place of mutual respect and empathy. Lastly, practice empathy. Put yourself in your partner's shoes. Understand that they too are human, capable of making mistakes. Remember the times when you were forgiven, and extend the same grace to your partner. Forgiveness in marriage is a journey, not a destination. It's a continuous process of learning, growing, and choosing love over resentment. It's about realizing that the strength of your bond is greater than any mistake. But remember, forgiveness isn't a one-way street. It requires the efforts of both parties. It's a shared gift, a mutual agreement to move forward, leaving the past behind and focusing on building a brighter future together. Forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it does enlarge the future. And in the vast expanse of this future, there lies the potential for a stronger, more resilient, and more loving marriage. Marriage isn't a noun, it's a verb. It isn't something you get, it's something you do. A profound thought, isn't it? Just like a sapling needs care to grow into a strong tree, a marriage requires a commitment to growth, a dedication to becoming better partners each day. Imagine a relationship as a garden that you and your spouse cultivate together. Now what happens if you stop watering the plants? They wither and die, right? The same goes for marriage. If you stop nurturing it, stop investing time and effort, it could wither. So how do you commit to growth in a marriage? Well, firstly, by understanding that both of you are individuals with your unique dreams, aspirations, and growth paths. You see, marriage is a partnership, a team where both players are continually evolving. You're not the same people you were when you said, "I do," and that's okay. It's more than okay. It's wonderful. It's growth. Secondly, by supporting each other's personal growth. Be your spouse's cheerleader, their confidant, their safe space. Encourage them to pursue their dreams, to learn, to explore. Celebrate their achievements, big or small, and let them know you're proud of them. And lastly, by striving to be a better partner each day. Learn from your mistakes, your misunderstandings. Use them as stepping stones to improve, to grow. Listen to your spouse, understand their needs, their wants, their fears. Be patient, be kind, be understanding. Remember, growth isn't always linear. There will be times of stagnation, times of regression, but don't lose heart. Keep striving, keep growing, because the beauty of growth lies not in its destination, but in its journey. In the end, what matters isn't where you've reached, but how far you've come together, how much you've grown together. And that, my friends, is the true essence of marriage. Marriage is a journey, not a destination. Keep moving, keep growing,